Purification practices work. It must be done with the 4 opponent powers. If the 4 opponent powers are applied and you do the purification practices, you will be able to purify your negative karma. You will be able to collect new karma, good karma. And if it's dedicated toward bodhicitta or enlightenment, it will become merit. There's a difference between good karma and merit. Merit is what propels you toward enlightenment. Karma, good karma, is what propels you toward good rebirth in this life. It's different. Merit can equal both. Karma cannot equal both. Merit will give you a good life, good situation, sustenance, friends, family, position, power, etc., etc. And those accessories, if I may, will help you on your journey to enlightenment. Whereas good karma, not merits, that is collected on the basis of false motivation, wrong motivation, will give you good wealth, good happiness, life, family, high taste, status, etc., etc., but will not propel you to enlightenment, but in fact bring you down in samsara. For example, Mother Teresa's wealth and position and power and standing in the world, in fact, propels her toward enlightenment. And in enlightenment, all the gold cups are in your hands. Do you see the difference between merit and good karma? There's a big difference. Don't mistake yourselves. Therefore, it behooves us to make a very good motivation before any Dharma talk, any Dharma action, any prostration, meditations, practices, pilgrimages, meeting our Guru. In fact, any charitable actions before we do, we should develop an extremely good motivation. Therefore, that action will effect the collection of merit, not good karma. A result of good karma is someone who is very wealthy and rich and just gives away to show friends, to show how wealthy they are, how their position is. And they do it, the act is good, but the result will be birth in the human realm in the future. Yes, again, with some sort of wealth, or as a god with some sort of wealth, but that wealth will pull them down. They can be born into a family that's very wealthy, but they experience beatings, sufferings, abuse. They can be born into a wealthy family as a little French poodle, getting wonderful food, getting a lovely bath, getting your fur trimmed. You can be born into a wealthy family that does not take care of you. You can be born into a wealthy family and enjoy wealth for a few years and die. Or you can be born into a wealthy family where you are excluded from inheritance. Well, a charitable act does not equal charitable results. Charitable or good motivation will equal good results, enlightenment, regardless of the action. Like a mother scolding her child out of love, as opposed to me scolding my monks out of anger. Both is scolding. The motivation is different. Therefore, the results will be completely different. It's very logical. It's not the action. Now, yesterday, we talked about the 10 negative actions. The 10 negative actions. Now we'll talk about some virtuous karma and its result. Restraining oneself from the 10 not virtues is essential in developing skillful means and wisdom. If one is able to refrain from the 3 mental vices, those of the body and speech will be easily avoided. If you can avoid the 3 negative mental states, the vices of the speech and body will be easily controlled. It is the mind. If one's mental activity is under control, it is good to live in a populated place, for this leads to love and compassion, because you have the opportunity to practice love and compassion with people who are not loving and compassionate. Further, such an environment offers a situation in one's anger may be aroused, thus giving one the opportunity to apply the 4 opponent powers and to develop the virtue of patience. But without this mental control, it is better to live in seclusion. The beginner is like a rabbit and his illusions like an elephant. So his remedies for delusions are very weak. If one lives as a town dweller, it is important to check one's motivation before going out and watch for the craving that arises when one walks through the town. The fruit of unvirtuous acts, in which there is both intention and fruition of the act, must be experienced unless the four opponent powers are applied. However, if there is an act without intention, the person need not experience the karmic fruit of that act. There are further three types of karma. 动智, ryungyugide, or karma of which the fruit is experienced in this life. The second is karma of which the fruit is experienced in the next life. And the third is karma which is to be experienced in the next several lives. In order to attain higher states of existence to help others, the following 8 qualities are very beneficial. All good karma, all good actions, all positive actions are based on avoidance of the 10 non-virtuous acts which we have talked about yesterday in detail. Killing, stealing, sexual misconduct, lying, despiteful speech, hurtful speech, idle gossip, covetousness, malice, and holding wrong views. All suffering can be destroyed on the basis of just those 10 avoidances. Those 10. How simple and beautiful. How wonderful. How basically easy Buddha has given us the methods. Because by avoiding those 10, the mind becomes calmer, negativities do not accrue anymore, and what has been accrued becomes purified. Number 1, restraint from killing and helping others out of their troubles, such as being a doctor or a nurse, is a cause of long life. If you have long life, this enables one to attain one's goals and to help others. One needs a long life in order to take full advantage of the fully endowed human form, so it is important to take good care of one's body. Number 2, patience and such acts as repairing religious paintings, statues, temples, and so forth. This will enable one to gain the karma of getting a pleasing physical appearance. People are immediately attracted to one whose appearance is pleasing. Thus, such a person is in a better position to offer help. Number 3, humility, overcoming one's pride in respecting one's elders and other people in general, will result in birth in a race or caste which is highly regarded by society. Others listen to such people, whereas they might ignore a low-caste person, even one who is very wise, in general. Number 4, the act of charity and making offerings will result in wealth. This can be used to help others, as people require food and clothing before they can learn and practice the Dharma. Number 5, restraint from the 4 unvirtuous acts of speech: lying, divisive talk, idle talk, and karsa, harsh speech, harsh talk. Restraint from these 4 actions of the speech will give you the karma in your future, and now to always be truthful. Therefore, this increases one's effectiveness in one's speech and guiding others. When one speaks, it will be pleasant, people will listen, people will respect you, people will like hearing your voice. And in general, you will gain a very pleasant, bell-like, clean, strong voice that is very pleasant and melodious to hear when you restrain from acts of speech. Beautiful voice, pleasant voice, voice that reaches others, that touches others, that can change others, that can guide others, that is respected by others. This is the type of speech you will get, like His Holiness the Dalai Lama, whose voice, regardless, not even the words, just the tone of it, brings tears, because it's so beautiful. Or some singers, who when you just hear their voice, it brings pleasure. It is the result of restraint of the 4 unwholesome acts of speech, just as I've mentioned. Number 6, combining humility with the use of one's power to the fullest extent for the benefit of others. Prayers to the triple gem for obtaining a fully endowed body, and these 8 qualities in the next life are also a cause of power and fame. Combining, having humility, the direct result will be to gain power and fame in your future life. And now, in fact, a person with these attributes has a greater influence over others and thus can effectively bring about changes for their benefit. For example, a king can cause monasteries or stupas to be built. Number 7, helping the poor and weak by doing for them what they are unable to do. Not hitting any living being, even one's pet animals, is a further cause of having a capable mind and body. Helping the poor and the weak, the sick, the disabled, and not hitting others, and not abusing others' bodies, will result in a healthy, able body and mind in your future life. And in this life, in fact. Which such a person can follow the instructions of their guru, and by attempting and achieving goals which others would not strive for, attain enlightenment in one life. Number 8, rejoicing in the triple gem, having reverence for others, and reciting the Manjushri mantra. This will result in having very strong willpower. Willpower that cannot be diverted, pushed off its goals, or easily manipulated. To have strong willpower. Having this, one will be content while following any practices, and you will even have the ability to live in a cave alone if necessary to do your practices. If you have strong determination in getting a girlfriend, if you have strong willpower to get a good business, that is not a positive sign. That is in fact a negative sign. It is a sign that you will increase your delusions. When you are afraid of meditations, you are afraid of seclusion and caves, and you are afraid of these places, it is a sign that in your previous lives, you did not rejoice in other people's good deeds, in the triple gems good deeds. You did not have reverence for others, and you, in fact, have not had respect for others. Therefore, will result in a lack of strong willpower toward the true activities that will benefit your life and future lives, others, and eventually your enlightenment. Having strong willpower in the correct sense, you will be content and happy with practices and events that come along, and you will not be influenced by worldly advices, worldly people, gossip, and talk. You will be very strong in your determination to practice. Even if your teacher says, go into a cave, go into a retreat for 1 year, you will say, I will do so. When the teacher says you come to a Dharma talk, go into retreat, do this meditation, recite that prayer 1 million times, and you think of every excuse that is existing not to do it, it shows your lack of willpower in the correct sense of the word. But when your teacher says, go get a good job, fix yourself up, go get a nice boyfriend, before he finishes the sentence, you're out the door, that is the wrong type of willpower. That is willpower toward delusion and delusional activities. These 8 are not necessary for the attainment of enlightenment, but they do make progress faster and one's act more effective. Having them is like traveling from point A and B on a go-kart or an automobile. So these 8 results are not the aim of practice, but by the avoidance of the 10 non-virtuous acts, 4 of speech, 3 of mind, 3 of body, one could accumulate the karma to attain these 8 positions: long life, a pleasing physical appearance, birth in a high society, high race, wealth, to be truthful, powerful, famous, healthy, able body with strong willpower. These will help you and supplement you along your Dharma practice and to bring others onto the Dharma. So if you're born in a high caste, naturally you will be respected. So be born with a good, pleasing physical appearance that is good to look at, nice to look at, but does not attract other people's desires, but to have charisma. When that people see you or hear you or with you, they are attracted and spellbound by your Dharmic charisma. Not to have a pleasing appearance that bring desire onto the other person. That is a wrong type of charisma. But to have Dharma charisma, to attract others just by appearance, to look different, just by seeing you, someone says, hey, that person looks different. What is it about them? By that way, one method to bring it onto Dharma. To have wealth, to use it for the sake of growing and benefiting others. To always have good speech, pure speech, pleasant speech. To have power and fame that you can influence others onto the good path. To have a healthy and able body and mind so that whatever one wishes to do, positively one is able. To have strong willpower that you cannot be pushed off the path, regardless of whatever people do to you, how much beating you get, how much scolding, how much people make fun of you, or taunt you, or tease you, or how everybody in the world, your society, and people are saying you're doing a wrong thing, yet you have strong will and determination from a very young age to do it, and you know it's right, and you do it, and not to be thrown off regardless of the obstacle, is a result of rejoicing in others' merits, and especially the triple gem, having reverence for others, and also meditation upon Manjushri. Any of those factors. Those are not what we want out of Dharma practice. They will be a byproduct of our Dharma practice. They will be a byproduct. They will come without asking for it. Therefore, you do not have to create or dedicate your merits toward achieving long life, health, wealth, power, fame, beauty, position. You do not. You dedicate it toward enlightenment, and those 8 qualities will come naturally. Like a lake in the summer monsoon rains, it will swell up naturally without expectation. Therefore, it is always very beneficial to have an excellent motivation, to dedicate it to the supreme of the supreme, enlightenment. And on the basis of the avoidance of the 10 non-virtuous activities, coupled with the 4 opponent powers, that is Dharma practice. That is the real Dharma practice. Without that, the initiations, the mantras, the meditations, everything is useless. Is useless. So if your Dharma practice consists of rolling your malas, rolling your rosaries, having a beautiful altar, giving gifts to the Sangha, if it consists only of that, you will get some benefits by the power of the 3 jewels. But it will not be the benefits that will be lasting, which is enlightenment. It will be temporary benefits, such as some sort of wealth, fleeting wealth, fleeting happy state of mind, fleeting, short, because the object that you have done this in relation to has the power to grant that. So virtuous karma, in order to take full advantage of these 8 qualities that one can attain, one should pray that they will benefit all creatures. That is the motivation. Today we have gone into karma. We have gone into karma strongly. Yesterday we talked about previous lives, how they exist on a logical basis. Today, in the beginning, I have gone over it with you. This will strengthen your already maybe strong or non-strong belief in reincarnation. At least in your society, in your culture, in our cultures, in our Eastern cultures, we have a strong belief in reincarnation. Or we've heard of it, we've been exposed. Or our grandmothers have told us, and on that basis, we've just believed it. But yesterday, I have given you a sound, irrefutable basis to contemplate on reincarnation. Today, we have talked about the workings of karma. Remember, refuge, true Dharma practice, motivated by the wish to free others on the basis of the 10 avoidances, the 10 non-virtues, coupled with the 4 opponent powers. This is Dharma practice. This is the core, this is the essence. If this is done, then meditation, mantras, initiation, making statues, making religious artifacts, helping the Sangha, sponsoring Rinpoche, sponsoring monks, sponsoring monasteries, sponsoring centers, will bring true benefit, will bring not karma, but merit. Think about it carefully. On these 4 bases, if you do any Dharma practice, you will gain results quickly. I hate to use a cliche, but it's not the quantity, it's the quality. It's better to recite 1 Shakyamuni mantra or 1 Om Mani Padme Hum with remorse, regret, a vow not to do negative actions, and to do antidote actions such as compassion and meditation, and to avoid the 10 avoidances, to do 1 Om Mani Padme Hum on those bases, than to do 1 million Om Mani Padme Hums without those. And that is the truth. Enlightenment is not from your mouth, it is from your mind. So if the mind is not developed, how can the mouth effect it? It can supplement it if it's coupled with the right mind. From today on, I beg you, I implore you, I ask you, I request you, folded hands and on my knees that all of you take these teachings to heart. And from today on, make a change in your lives to change your attitude, even 0.01% from today on, from the teaching on, not to leave the teaching on a shelf and brag how beautiful it is, how wonderful it is, and how you received it, and how excellent it was, etc., 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 to put flowery phrases on it, but to actually enact it and use it and do it. Therefore, your purpose of coming here today, my purpose of coming here, and all the people who were involved in my coming, in small and great ways equally, will be benefited. That's how an affinity with people, lamas, and teachers, and Buddhas, and Sangha that you like will become stronger. When that affinity and karma becomes stronger, your negativity will lessen. Because the definition of a spiritual friend or guide is one that when you stay around them, your activities of positive will increase and your negative activities will decrease. That is the definition of a spiritual friend, which is Guru, Sangha, your Dharma brothers and sisters, etc., etc. When you hang around these people, when you stay around these people, you notice with time your negative actions decrease and your positive actions increase. That is the definition of a spiritual friend.